This video is about how to make your own simple sock blockers. If you're like me and you like to dry your socks on sock blockers, I have wooden plywood flat sock blockers. I've also used metal, like made out of coat hanger type sock blockers. Those you can make yourself, the metal ones, if you can find the old-fashioned bendable metal hangers. It's very easy to just make a sock shape out of them, and then you have your own sock blockers. This is another idea. This is muslin. It's 15 inches long by about 8 inches wide, and then folded in half. And these are like legs that are going to go into your socks. Now, here is one of my now infamous socks. They've been socks, they've been statue covers, they've been arms for a bear, and now they're currently stuffed. And because I'm changing the way I'm doing a certain pattern, I said, oh, I've got to get that stuffing out of there. And yet I wanted to keep that amount. So anyway, I got to the fact where I'm going to make sock blockers, put the stuffing into the sock blocker, and then when I need a temporary stuffing thing in this, I can use it. But also, it's a sock blocker, because especially with tube socks. Now this is a tube sock style. And when I make this 15-inch leg, false leg, and stuff it with, this is merino wool that I'm going to stuff it with. You could also use polyfill. And I am stitching it with my American-made vintage Dexter. And you fold it in half, you just stitch on the raw edges, leave the top open for stuffing, and then when you're done stitching, turn it right side out, fold these edges in, and stitch across the top. The Dexter is a chain stitch. Any of the small handheld chain stitch machines, this is a wonderful project for. So what I'll end up with is a similar shape to the actual sock, only it'll be a little bit smaller. I may stuff it more tightly, and when I'm not using it to test the shape or the size of something, I can wash a pair of socks and stick these in there, and they will absorb any of the water. The socks will dry, and I'm sure it's still going to be bendable if you want to shape a heel into it with socks that aren't tube socks. My better wooden sock blockers are about $30 a set of two, which at one time didn't seem that bad to me, but now seems outrageous. And the less expensive ones in wood are about $12, and I bought a pair of those, and they're so thin, they've already warped. So something like this is so easy to make out of scrap fabrics and leftover stuffing. You could even use like yarn tail leftover scraps or fabric scraps. You could stuff them with anything, because all you really need is, the way the wooden ones work is the water evaporates off the sock and doesn't go into the wood, supposedly. With this, you would be absorbing the water out of the sock into this, and then of course these can be washed and dried separately, and they're reusable, and it's using up your fabrics or your stuffing or your leftovers for a very practical item. So it's a muslin fake leg sock blocker set. Each piece is 15 inches long by 8 inches wide. Fold it in half and make a couple of stuffed tubes, and you've got sock blockers.